morning, everyone. Welcome to Passion and Change. Today we shall explore an idea of something that I think will be very important to you. I'm going to stop with that accent because I'm sure it is annoying the fuck out of you and clipping your speakers or headphones or whatever you're using. Something really fucking bothers me, and it is something in the polyamory community and the swinger community that I think is a mistake. I think it's wrong. I think it's an excuse in those communities for people to kind of control their partners into being more open. But it applies to almost everything in life. It's not just very specific to the polyamory and swinger communities. I think it also includes a bunch of other things in life that people will try to control you. And this is insecurities. What I mean is, a lot of people will say, oh, you're doing that because you're insecure, or you want that because you're insecure, or this is because you're insecure. Like, for instance, I'll specifically say about the polyamory and swinger communities, and I have a lot of friends in those communities, so I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm not saying the communities are bad. I love those communities. I think that there's so much that the polyamory community gets right. So I'm not trying to throw under the bus these people that have found ways to ethically have relationships that are more open and all-encompassing and custom than what society shares. I think that that's awesome. I'm just saying this particular aspect of these communities really fucking irks me. But it's a way that the communities can improve. I'm not saying that they're bad communities at all. In fact, I like most of what the polyamory community does. But in the polyamory community, so for me, for instance, for my main girl, I do not want her sleeping with other guys. That's just a thing. Now, I have polyamorous friends, and they ask me, why are you so insecure? First of all, whether it comes from insecurity or not, that's something that I have delved deep into, and no, it doesn't come from insecurity. It's a strong preference of mine. But what bothers me is that people use the word insecurity to kind of control you. They try to kind of control you. Now, some things are because of insecurity. Like, for instance, if I'm sleeping with a girl and she's not my main girl and I don't want her sleeping with other guys, but I haven't really made any commitments to her, that's kind of weird. That's along the lines of, like, maybe I'm being a little bit controlling and I'm kind of being insecure. But if I'm like, hey, for my main girl, I just really don't want her to sleep with other guys. Like, if I'm talking to a girl, I'm like, hey, like, I really like you. If I make you my girlfriend, like, this is how I want my girlfriend to act. This is the kind of girlfriend, the kind of situation I want to have with my girlfriend. Like, I don't want her to sleep with other guys. It doesn't make me an insecure man. That's just my preference. And it bothers me that people use the idea of an insecurity to kind of try to, like, get a handle on your behavior and control your behavior. Another guy, I'm friends with him, and we were running, and after running, we were going to go get some food. And I was like, hey, like, let's go in my car. It's convenient. It's right here. I'll drive us. And then I'll come back, and then we'll drive back to your car. And he's like, well, why don't we switch? Like, why don't, like, you drive me to my car, and then we both go in my car? And I'm like, no, like, it's just not convenient. Like, I want to drive in my car. And he's like, why are you so insecure? Like, why do you need to be in control? And I'm like, I mean, we have a great friendship. This is, again, not ragging on him. This was one interaction out of a great friendship that bothered me. I'm not saying he's a bad friend. He's a great friend. But this particular interaction, he's trying to use my insecurities against me in a way. And that is really manipulative and kind of pisses me off. And I think it's pervasive in a lot of different people. This idea that if you're doing something that they don't like, they can find a way to be like, oh, it's because you're insecure, which means you need to change your behavior and do what I want you to do. Like, in a polyamorous relationship, like, you're insecure. I mean, okay, so I'm not going to say anything about specific relationships or specific setups, because sometimes, like, there are relationships where the value of the relationship is as open as possible. Not for me. That's not the relationship for me, but for some people, that's what they want. That's what legitimately would desire in a relationship is for it to be as open as possible. Great. Awesome. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about how sometimes in polyamorous relationships, insecurity, me calling the other person insecure, is a weapon for me to try to change their behavior. Like, oh, you don't like that I had sex with this other guy last night and then I'm telling you about it? You're insecure. Now, again, some relationships in the polyamory community are 100% cool with that, and like that is valid because like the people agreed that this was something that they would have in their relationship. Like they needed to do X, Y, they needed to have it as open as possible. And then in that case, sure, maybe talk about why it's not open and why you're not comfortable about it being as open as possible. But in any other case, it's like, that's like one person trying to control the other, trying to like, hey, here's a handle on your emotions. Here's something I can grab onto so that I can move you around where I want to move you. And that is insidious as fuck. So it's a bit of a rant. And I think it's really important, especially like there's a couple insecurities that people tend to use. So I'll list off some insecurities that people tend to try to grab a hold of. Ones that they make up, whether they're true or not. Number one is insecurity of needing control over things. Number two is insecurity of not being loved. And number three is insecurity of safety. So like insecurity of not being in control was like my friend saying, hey, like, why are you so insecure about not being in control when it came to be like I just want to drive my car. And it's, first of all, it's more convenient. And then second of all, I just want to drive my car. I mean, like my car is the one closest to us. So let's just go in my car. You drop your laptop off at your, or pick your laptop from your car, which was why his laptop was in his car. He didn't want to get stolen. Pick your laptop from your car, get back in my car. Like that's just convenient as fuck. Second is of not being loved. Then that comes up a lot in relationships, even in monogamous relationships. It's like maybe like your girlfriend has a crush on a guy, and he invites her out to lunch, and she's told you she has a crush on him. She's like, hey, I have a crush on this guy. He invited me out to lunch, and then like drinks afterwards, or like he invited me out to dinner and drinks afterwards. Like if you have a monogamous relationship that doesn't. All right, so my camera filled up with memory. I have a huge card that I never filled up in my life. And I did a photo shoot yesterday and did a couple long interviews this week, so it did fill up the card finally. So I just deleted some stuff from the card, put it on my external drive, and now we are back in action. Now, I was talking about the three main insecurities people use to try to like control your behavior to do what they want to do. Number one is an insecurity of being in control. Number two is an insecurity of being in of not being loved, and number three is an insecurity of safety. An example, you guys already know, I'm just kind of getting my memory back on track. I was starting, the second one was an insecurity of being in a love, of not feeling loved, and if, say, you're in a relationship where the boundaries are so that you don't allow your girlfriend to have sex with other guys, which is the relationship that I would have, and you know that she's on a crush with this guy, and he invited her to dinner and a drink, and she wants to go, and you say no, then she could say, hey, like, why are you so insecure? Are you like, are you saying that like I'm not gonna love you? Like, are you insecure that like I'll go be with him? And that's a way to try to control your behavior, to get you to do what she wants. Or it could go the other way. I mean, it could be like a dude wants to go out with a girl or whatever, and it doesn't have to be gender here. It doesn't have to be like the dude doing it to the girl or the girl doing it to the dude. It's the same thing. Like, it's insidious to use other people's insecurity as a handle to try to change their actions. It's kind of fucked up. Number three is insecurity of safety. Say that you're in a relationship. A lot of insecurities come up in relationships. You're in a relationship. One of you wants to travel. The other one doesn't. And the one that wants to travel could say, hey, like, why are you so insecure? Are you insecure about feeling safe? Like, and some of these things, so here's the thing, some of these insecurities, like, they might actually be your insecurities, and it would be helpful to deal with them and to learn with them, because your life might be better. Like, there's a difference between, like, I want to travel and my partner doesn't, and they legitimately want to, like, she really wants to travel. She really wants to travel with me, but she doesn't know how. She's just nervous. She's scared. Then me helping her over her insecurities would be amazing. Like, that's good. Or like, say like, I want to have an open relationship, and I've decided that, and my girlfriend is going off to see some guy, and I want her to have fun with this guy because that's the decision of relationship I wanted. I wanted to make that relationship. So me getting over my insecurities of not feeling loved would be helpful for me because it would help me with my goal. Now, that's not the relationship that I want, but if it was, and then, like, for instance, being in control, sometimes it's helpful to get over your insecurity of being in control, because then you can have, like, cool, unexpected things happen. There are so many times where I've been so locked down over myself. Like, I used to do a thing where I would want to leave a party, like, really early, because later in the night I wasn't able to control things. Like, in the early parts of a party, I can control the interactions I have. Like, I can control how people see me. This was mostly in college. And then at the end of the party, like, I can't control what people see me. Like, there'll be times where I'm sad. There'll be times when nobody's paying attention to me. And that freaked me out. I wanted to have control of the situation. And so getting over that insecurity of being scared of not having control helped me have a much better time at parties and with friends and out in public, etc. Going out at night where you're not really in control of things. So yes, I think it's insidious that people try to take your insecurities as a handle on your action and jerk you around the way they want you to. I also think that in a lot of cases, it's very helpful to you to work on your insecurities. But that's the thing here. It's helpful to you to work on the insecurities when you want to, not when they want to. Let me repeat that. When you want to work on your insecurities. And I think that's the key here, is work on your insecurities when it helps you with your goals, not when it helps them with their goals if their goals are different than yours. Other people might want things for you that aren't the best thing for yourself. That's the thing to keep in mind here. You do not have to listen to anybody. Like, it's almost like a trump card. It's almost like when anybody says, oh, you're just being insecure, it's like a trump card. It's like, okay, well, now I have to listen to you because you're trying to help me, even if they're not. Somebody saying you're insecure is not a trump card. You can ignore the fuck out of them. I would say it might be helpful to consider, to like think for a few seconds, be like, are they right? Would I be better if I dealt with this insecurity right now and did this specific action? But make that decision for you and only think about it for a few seconds, because you'll probably know. I mean, it's really hard to lie to yourself for a long period of time. You can do it for a short period of time pretty effectively, but over time, like, you know when you're bullshitting yourself, and it'll create so much cognitive dissonance that you'll pretty much figure it out yourself. So I hope this helped you out. This is something that I've never heard anyone else talk about. I've been trying to think of opinions I have and advice that I have that I haven't heard anywhere else. Excuse me. I once emailed Mark Manson because I fucking love his book. So I was like, hey, just asked him for some advice, and he actually emailed back. He doesn't email back anymore, probably because I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh my God, you emailed me, this is crazy. I think I fucking freaked out a bit too much and tried to get too much of his attention. I'm like, hey, can you be my mentor and shit? Stuff that if I were to email him now, I would not ask for his time without giving anything like I was. I was super new in my self-improvement journey when I had the email thread with him, and I feel very ashamed of it. But he replied. I said something like, how do you come up with blog topics? Because at the time I was all in on my blog, and I was like, passionunchained.com if you want to read those articles. He was like, I don't remember the exact wording, but he said, and he also wrote an article about this later. But he said something like, I find what nobody else is saying, but what people need to hear, and I write about that. And this is one of those things where nobody else is saying it, people need to hear it, and I'm making a video about it. I hope that it helps you. And yeah, subscribe if you like. Also, I'm doing as much as I can to put all my time into this. and photography, but that only helps. I can only do that if it helps me pay my bills. So if you have anything on Amazon you want to buy, I have a bunch of Amazon affiliate links in the description below, and that would be a huge help if you use my links, because it's at no cost to you. You get exactly the same product, exactly the same price, but I get a little cut because I referred you to Amazon. Amazon is like, yo, like this person bought from us. Thank you for referring this person to Amazon. I'll give you a little bit of a cut. That helps me put a lot more time into this and then make more quality content. Because right now I'm focusing a lot of my energy on figuring out what content people need to hear and what would help. Like this, I think this is like, of the subject matter, this is leagues above the subject matters that I was talking about a few weeks ago. So, and that's only possible because I've had, because of the support of you guys, of my, of my YouTube subscribers. Thank you very much. And then also of my photography clients. Thank you very much as well. That help me pay my bills so I can have my mind free to think more clearly and not be so like locked up in my insecurities for safety, if we're going back, making it full circle. So anyway, I wish you guys the best, and don't die.